3. That was quick. Hope we're all doing well. Not much of a stream really this, to be honest with you. I get no one in, I get no one in, I get some people in, I get some people in. Not really bothered. Who else is... This might go either way. I might get some people, I might get nobody, but hey ho. I don't mind either way. To be fair, been a weird one. More the checking dream than anything else. There isn't much to talk about on the footballing side of things. But make sure I'm not clipping. In theory, I should be outside in this weather, but ain't gonna happen. I'm not too bad, thanks, Chris. How are you, mate? How everyone on your end? It's a bit weird, isn't it, at a minute? Very, very strange. Click that. Like I said, this isn't really going to be a football stream, but I'll talk a bit of football while I'm in here. This stream's a weird one because had some issues with some fans at times, and I'll get into it in a minute. Yep, I know. Okay. Bump the ISO a little bit. That better. I think better it's gonna be anyway. But yeah, like I said, this stream is not really thought out. This is playing silly beggars. Yeah, not too bad. Just doing my day off at work, but can't wait for things to. Yeah, I think going back to normal would be lovely. I'm in the position where my wife is a frontline NHS worker, so for us it's a little bit precarious what's going on, because in a sense nothing changed in what our day to day is, apart from that we only have one person leaving the house, and that's her, because there's no point me and the little one going out anywhere. It's better if we just limit it to one person. So I'm hoping people are doing as they're told and taking it seriously. A lot of people are not. We put a light on. I thought I'd get away with no light, but I think, yeah, I need a light on. Bollocks. I thought I'd get away with no light with it being sunny, but it's a little bit overcast now, so a bit annoying. But yeah, it is what it is at the minute, isn't it? And you just gotta hope people are doing what they say they're doing. New who signed a 55-year deal with Wednesday taking over as owners that season. That's funny, Joe. I like that. Don't sound like you're going to get a new deal, though, which at the minute sounds like some of them are not going to get a deal, which I kind of get and I kind of don't. New Hugh's one of those ones that I probably give him a deal because he can offer you something off the bench, even if it is just as a bench player. But like I said, this is really just a check-in video, really, because I haven't been able to do any kind of Wednesday stuff because there's nothing going on. There's absolutely bugger all going on. Oh shit! Why has that done that? Hang on a minute. Shove that in the bottom corner. There we go. I now know what's going on then. Been wanting to do that for bloody ages. But yeah, there's not a lot going on in terms of Wednesday news and stuff, and anything you're seeing at the minute is puff pieces. They're all like little puff pieces just for getting people to talk and do stuff. And like, I got sent one the other day, and just like, what, this is the wage bill from 1992 to now, and it's like, well, of course it'll have gone up. Money back then was in football wasn't as big as it is now, but it's massive now. So it kind of one of those things. Unbeaten in the 4 months now. in terms of the actual football in stuff, there isn't much going on, but I get what you mean. It is nice to be honest with you. I'm enjoying the break as such because I always get to this time of year and I start to get very burnt out with football. I start to get fed up with it, and you get to about February March time when you're doing videos on football, and you get into that point where you want the summer transfer window to come, you want the season to end, and you just want to have a little bit of a break. Now, because we've had a fourth break, it's actually helped a lot. It's actually helped my mental health a little bit because when you're doing, let's figure it out. So, say if we've got a game midweek, uh, say if we've got a game midweek, I'm doing preview game preview. So that 4 videos a week, plus if I throw in a live stream if now and again, it's 5, and then you've got to handle everything else. What do you think they should do with the league then? Should they scrap it and start again, or should they carry on from where they left off? I don't know, because the part of me that said they should scrap it and start again, but if you do that, you then got to scrap it for all of it. So you've got to scrap it for the Premiership, and then you've got the situation where Liverpool are not champions, and let's be fair, they deserve it. But then you've got the situation with FFP this year is going to be really weird because it's sounding like they're going to scrap this year's financial fair play accounts because they're not going to be able to properly do it because of everything that's going on. But if we do, let me just turn that off. If we do go and keep it going, how do you monetize it? And I know it's a really weird thing to say that in the scheme of things and what's going on, but how would you monetize, get the club to get the money? Because at the end of the day, you can't expect the clubs to do the games and not think about making money. It's like a really weird one. If they carry on where we left off, what does that mean for the point deduction? Because right now, I don't think the EFL or anyone like that are really bothered about talking about the point deduction as of now, because they're trying to figure out what's going on with the league. And at the moment, the league is in such a precarious position because no one knows what's going to happen. You've got the two theories are that, like you said, you either scrap it or you keep it going. And personally, I don't know which one I like the sound of. If we scrap it, means we start afresh and Monk gets a proper pre-season with the players and does what he meant to with the team, or we start again and you're treating it as the start of the new season. So it'll be interesting. Why's my camera going in and out of focus? It shouldn't be. So I'd be very, very dubious what they do next. Let's put it that way. Because at the end of the day, I believe there's 2 camps with the start again, and I read somewhere the other day that if this goes on longer, that just hammered my CPU. Seriously, opening that just hammered my CPU. Fucking hell. Because I read somewhere that Bournemouth, if this goes on longer, they are really screwed because they rely on so much of TV money. And I think it's going to make people think about how they're spending the money now, because I think a lot of clubs are now realising that they're spending too much. I think it'll cut a lot of money in football and where they spend it, because there's a lot of them that rely on the TV money for funding the club and keeping the club going. Bournemouth, nearly, I think it's something like 80% of their 80% of their budget is TV money. Hey Craig, how are you, mate? Yeah, we're all safe on this end. I hope it's the same for you. Hope family's well and everyone's doing as they're told. It's weird, isn't it? It's been very weird. It was a weird March. It's now going to be really weird April. It's like, wife said to me yesterday, it's like, oh, it's Easter Sunday this Sunday. I was like, is it? I have no idea what it is. So yeah, it's very strange. I'm hoping everyone's well and safe, and relatives are fine as well. And it's a very bizarre thing at the minute because in our lifetime, we've never had something like this, where something is this. What's the word? I'm trying to think. Debilitating for the entire country and communities. And there's still so many people who are saying it. Oh, don't ignore the media, ignore the numbers, ignore this. And I had something recently with someone, and it got very very annoying, and I just had to walk away from the conversation. And it's very hard when you get people turning and said, "Oh, the numbers are not real. They're not this, and this." So it's like, speak to the families who are losing people. You go speak to someone who's lost someone to this, and you tell them it's all bollocks, because I guarantee you'll get punched in the face. They will 100% punch you in the face, and you deserve it. You deserve it 100%, because there are people who are dying from this. Yes, it is the higher age bracket of people that are dying from it to a point, but it's still affecting young people as well. And the more people the more people do as they're told and actually start listening to the advice, which they to a point, I say a lot of people are. It's about 10%, maybe 15% that are not, who just think it can carry on as normal, and it's not going to be able to carry on as normal for a very long time. Things are going to change very very soon. Hang on, let me just read that again, mate. What did you make of Dom's house and interview? Shame he don't beat more folk. He came across very, very well. He he came across with someone who's got a plan. Chansiri sounds like he does have a plan now. It does sound like the plan, and he came across as someone who has got a lot of love for the club still, and he wants the club to carry on, and he wants to do as much as he can. And I think for Dom Howson, he's been trying to get this kind of interview for years, like properly, and I think, and I'll also make another point. Since Dom Houghton's left the Star, he's actually his journalism's fantastic because he's been able to say what he wants to say. That would, I think, the Star, he wasn't. There were certain things that he wanted to write and say, and he couldn't, and he now is actually able to say what he wants and be able to give a voice, and they're just giving him the freedom to do it, which is fantastic. That's near me. Where the hell is that? Oh god, that is not vital. But he came across very well. The recruitment side was interesting. Um, I think he'll get brought up a little bit more on things. Um, I think he understands it. He understands it, and he's put a lot of time and effort in. And the fact that he actually turned around and said he accepted the interview shows that he's big enough and humble enough for the owner to turn around and go, whoa, my stream just went really laggy then. Um, he's humble enough to turn around and say, look, I have been at this lots and lots of times before, but I'm going to say it again. And it just needs people to listen. It needs people to listen and listen to what he's saying. There was a bit where he said things in it, and I had the whole thing where he contradicts himself from stuff that he said in the past. But at the same time, I think sometimes what he says get taken out of context, and some people blame it on the opens up the post opens up on the post that kicked out the Premier League exiled as Sheffield Wednesday. He basically he basically like kind of had the situation where I think some of the things he says get taken out of context and people blame the language barrier. Now, I don't think it is a language barrier, but I just think sometimes he picks his words that are not the right word to describe something. And the one I'm going to say is the when he said, I'd never seen players of family. But there is an interview saying that he's seen the players of family. My screen's going a bit funny at times. Could Chrome's eating on my own. Guide action, the guide to the natural form of it, the 30-year-old limitations in his wider game. Yeah, he is. Good interview, actually. So it will be very interesting to see how FIFA plan to solve. Hang on a moment. This will be interesting. How FIFA plan to solve the issue of contracts that expire during the shutdown at clubs such as Sheffield Wednesday. FIFA confirmed plan to iron out some of the biggest issues that could potentially scupper the bid to end the current season. With continuous players including season with no date, but according to FIFA, they have drawn up a list of proposals understood to be accepted anonymously and will accept the National Association to cooperate them. The most pressing matter covers the contract, which will simply be extended until the final day of the season. Players that have signed free contracts with the club will be expected to remain with their current employees and do their things. If a club finds themselves unable to afford a pay player through the extended season, FIFA will encourage both sides to work together towards agreement. Should agreement not be reached, the matter will be passed to FIFA Chambers Plus. FIFA are willing to allow contracts to be suspended during the football shutdown if clubs are insured to do so and find a new. Yeah, that's going to be interesting with us because we've got a lot of players out of summer. Can see when they're having a sizable turnover of players this summer. Keep Penny, Fletcher and the rest can go. Will Lumbump to bring in his own players and include. I kind of agree with that. It's one of those things where you've already seen with the likes of Alex Hunt, he's already starting to build something. He's already starting to build a little bit of a team that you can see what he's trying to do. And that is vital. He needs to bring in his own players. And there's a lot of players in that team that just need shifting on. They've been there for too long. And that's been one of our biggest issues. We have held on to players for way too long. When we hold on to players, we shouldn't be like having them that long. There's some players that should have been out the door after 2 seasons, but then it never transpired. So I'd be very interested to see what Monk does. I can definitely see us. I can definitely see us getting a lot of League 1, League 2 players who are ready to make that step up. Because it's what Monk's done in the past with Birmingham, Middlesbrough, Leeds, he did it a couple of times. Middlesbrough was a weird one because with Middlesbrough, he kind of had a decent team already, so went for it. And didn't invest that much. He kind of got more Premiership players down because they had the parachute money. But at Birmingham, you saw him made some really true signings and players such as a likes of an Atinu who you'd never heard of before, like we've done before. His recruitment will need to be very solid in the summer, and we all know that. We all know that this summer needs to be a good turnover of players for the players and for the club. Let's be honest. Anyone who's been here long and anyone who's like been here a long time, we have to think about it. We have to think about what we're doing. He brought Kimo to leave from off. Exactly. That's the kind of player we need to be getting. And I think he'll do that. I think you'll see a lot of young League 1, League 2 players come up. Like Jordan Clark Harris at Bristol Rovers could come up. He's going to be one people are going to want to go for. But he's a good striker and he would be what we need. Supermarkets are back. What? Wait, what? Hang on a minute. I need to read this. Oh God, are they making you? Are they literally making you pick how many eggs you can buy for Easter? Oh, fuck's sake. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of players in League One, League Two that are decent players who are going to be worth going after. Um, I'll admittedly, I haven't looked that much into League One, League Two players of much. I've normally tried to keep ahead of both leagues or the league, but I'll admit League One, League Two haven't been on my radar. But there are some very good players, and I will be very interested to see who we go after in these time, because if we can get someone like Akeem Aruf or I'm trying to think of a good one who came from lower league recently. Fucking hell. Even if we do a bit of the Peterborough model, if that makes sense. Got to go, mate. Generally, hope everyone keeps safe and take care. You too, Craig. Have a good day, mate, and keep safe and just hold your loved one tight and tell them you love them. And that's all I can say to people, really. Have a good one, mate. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we do in the summer. Let's have a look. Hang on. League One hot. Let's have a look. Here we go. We could still go after that lad at Crawley, who we had at Birmingham City. There's a lot of good players. Baz Lumba, that's it. No way. There's a player I haven't heard from for a long time. How old is he now? Yeah, Oliver Ver's a good example, Bailey. Very much so. How old is he now? Chuffing hell, I remember when we had him. Player who did really well and never really did anything at us, sadly. Gutted that we never actually did anything with Danny Mayer. Could have gone on to be right good player. If we need a striker, I'll go for Oliver Burke. All depends on how much he'd go for. And the problem is he went for a lot of money first time round. And there are talks that Celtic are backing for him. What's his contract situation? Let's have a look. Cause he's on loan at minute at Alves. 21 appearances, 1 goal. When is his contract up? Let's have a look. Breaking his own most expensive footballer. So he signed in 2017. Is he out of? He's got another 2 years on his contract, so it will be it. But Bailey, it all like what's that? We don't know what's going on. We have no idea what is going to be happening, and that is the issue. Until we get some kind of idea what's going to happen, there's no idea. Like he's a winger, which is what we need. I'll give you that. We need a big winger, but what he went from Nottingham Forest to Leipzig for around 13 million, and then he went from West Brom. Went from Leipzig to West Brom for 15 million. So he broke his own thing. He's not going to be cheap. But the problem is, you could also turn around and go, you don't know what deal West Brom has got with Leipzig. Do they have to give a portion of the money to Leipzig, and then do Leipzig have to give a portion of the money that they got to Nottingham Forest, or did they have to give a bit to Nottingham Forest when they sold on? You don't know what clauses are in. So because you don't know what clauses are in, you don't know how much money they can actually do. But he would be a great player, but he's responding to treatment. Yay, good. So it's an interesting one. I'd take him. He's a very good player. He's only 22 as well. He's still a good young age. So he's still a player that you could do a lot with. Let's have a look. So, well, he's on loan. Gary Medine, he's gone back. Grant Leadbitter, let's have a look. We want anyone young. Like, you could look at the central midfielder Ipswich, Andre Doza. Good player. Very good player. Let's have a look. Mackay at Fleetwood. Howie Will Buckley 30, Jesus. And you have to go with who's. It all depends on what money we're allowed to spend as well. Like, if we're allowed to spend a bit of money, then we're in with a shot. But it all depends on how much money we're going to be able to spend and who we can move on and how we can change the wage bill. Because the wage bill is going to be the issue with us. Because we're going to have... it all depends on where we are. It all depends on where we are next season. I still think Touchwood will still be in the Championship, but it all depends what happens with what's going on. If we didn't have the situation we've got now with the can't say that word, it'll get flagged, with the virus, there we go, you have to think differently. It's a different ball game, and it's a ball game that nobody's used to at all. And that's the thing, nobody is used to what's going on at all. So when we all know something and when we can start back up, then we can start thinking about what to do. But as of right now, you can't even look at recruitment because you haven't finished your season. You'll be looking anyway, like you would have been beforehand, but you can't try and nail anything down. You can't even sort out contracts at the minute because you don't know who, what, where, what's going to be happening. Like, I love Ivan Toney at Peterborough to come in. Only 24, got a good goal scoring record. But at Peterborough will want a lot of money for him. 40 goals for Peterborough. 76 appearances, been there since 2008. He's only 24 as well. A good buy, but someone like him, we would need to get a lot of money for. How much did they sign him for? 650. So if they bought him for 650, they will probably want 2 million, 3 million plus for him. Really, if I'm being honest. But you look at the recruitment of someone like Peterborough and what they've done in the past. Peterborough are a very good example of how you recruit. How you get players from League 2 or non-league and you put them in your team and you go for it. That's how you've got to recruit. Brentford have done it a lot that way as well. There are a lot of players who have gone from... Wait, what? Why is Jack Dobbs just coming on my radar? He's out of contract at the end of summer. He's really not worked out. And there's players like Jack Dobbs and there's others like young players who you like. They've not kicked on enough. If they really were going to do it, they would have kicked on and tried to get in the team. And this is the thing. We got a lot of players that need to kick on. And either lead the club and go for it. Like Jack Dobbs came back to Ulster, he had injury issues, so and that's been his problem. He has been massively massively struck with injuries this season, and just not being able to kick on. There's a lot of young lads who are going to be able to leave the club and try and get new clubs. But it all depends on what league we're in and what happens, and then what we're realistically allowed to spend. That is the other issue. What are we realistically allowed to spend with the EFL? And to be honest with you, football to me right now doesn't really matter. I've literally got this stream up as a check-in stream to make sure everyone's okay. Say some of them bits with what's going on, and that's about it. Because I've been wanting to get things sorted. I wanted to get some things done while I had a bit of free time. So yeah, well, are we going live? We've been live for about 30 minutes, so I probably will end it soon, but I'm not sure yet. But yeah, it's until we get the okay and the all clear from everywhere and everyone involved. Right now, we just carry on with how we're doing, and we go from there. Not a lot you can do. I think I'll stop for a bit. I'm gonna go tidy up my house, tidy up some of my daughter's toys. Jesus Christ, this room needs doing. Go tidy up. Start getting dinner ready for when Missy gets home at about 4 or 5 o'clock. Do that kind of thing. But like I said, it was a check-in stream to make sure everyone's okay and everyone's doing alright. Please listen to the rules. Please be safe, and please take this seriously. For us, we go back to our day starts as everything fine. The moment my wife walks into the hospital and then walks back out, you're kind of resetting the clock to 0 every day because you don't know. So for us, it's that kind of situation where we start from 0 and then go again. We start from 0 and go again. If anything did happen, we would have to figure out how we would do it because I have no idea how it would happen. But fingers crossed, everyone's safe, everyone's fine, and hug your loved one, tell them you love them, and just stay close to them and get in touch with people who you don't see that often or you can't see at the moment, and make sure they're okay, and go from there. Because that's all you can do, to be honest with you. You have to keep them safe and keep yourself safe. And remember that loved ones will still be there as long as you keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, it's a strange one at the minute. It's nice weather today. If you've got a garden, go use it. If you haven't, do your 1 hour exercise and come home. Don't stay out as long as you want, as long as you need to, and do that. I'm going to go sort some stuff out. Thank you for watching this. I know it wasn't much of a stream. More of the check-in. I'm going to probably try and do a Wednesday related stream at some point, because I'm going to look at some League 1, League 2 players and see what's what. And see who we could possibly go for, make a lift up, and then share the screen. So thank you for watching. Keep well, everyone. Keep safe. And if we do as what the government are telling us to do, it'll end quicker than it does now. Thank you for watching, guys. See you soon.